Welcome back. You're watching the Oneness Wellness Lifestyle Show. We're talking about healthy finances. We operate in many domains: healthy spirit, mind, body, family, finance, right? We're going to talk about healthy finances, business, and money and business. So I promised that we were going to jump right into the 6 steps. So what I'd like you to do is, on your piece of paper, make 6 blocks, right? So you want to divide the paper in half, and then if you fold it twice over, you'll get 6 blocks. And in those blocks, what I'd like you to do is, in block number 1, you're going to put cash flow. That's not how you spell it. You're going to put cash flow. Cash flow. So what is cash flow? Cash flow is money in and out. It is the currency of the money that's flowing, right? So current, like water, like a stream has a current. The ocean has a current. Your money has a current, right? It's coming in and out. It's flowing all the time. Money is always in motion, always in motion. So when you think about cash flow is the money that comes into your house and then the money that goes out of the house, right? Not good or bad one way or the other, but just understanding what cash flow is. So one of the things that we have to do with cash flow is what? Increase it. So we want to increase the cash flow. Now, most people think about increasing the cash flow as, oh, I got to go get another job. Oh, I need to go get 2 jobs, right? Well, really all that does is put you in a higher tax bracket, right? You're going to pay more in taxes, and it's going to take your time. And what is time? Time is your life, right? Time is your life. So you're going to spend your whole lifetime just working, trying to get to the dollar amount. You can never get there that way, because there are not enough hours in a day to get you to where you really need to be in the future, right? In the future, because the cash flow is moving all the time. It's moving toward the future. What are your goals and your dreams? What are your aspirations? What are those things that you are wanting to do with your life, for yourself, for your family, have to do with cash flow and increasing that cash flow. So we say, well, how do I do that if I don't get another job? Well, one of the things is business development, right? You say, well, I don't know anything about business. I don't know anything about business. Well, when I talk to you about getting a world-class financial education and being curious, right? Mindset, remember? Being curious about what's possible, being curious about what will happen if I step out of what I already know. What if I step out of what's already comfortable for me, so I can look at some business development? And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get toward more into this conversation. So cash flow means you want to increase it. You've got to get your cash flow to do what? To go up. Cash flow to go up without having to go get jobs. Okay, go get more, go trade time for dollars. That doesn't work. Okay. Next, what's the second thing we have to do with cash flow? You have to manage expenses. Manage expenses. So what do you mean manage expenses? That means of the money that's coming in, how much of it is going out? We talked about having too much month at the end of the money, right? So when you manage your expenses, you'll find where you have leaky buckets, where the money is like sand flowing through your hands, right? Where you can't hold on to it. We find that money, and that money is part of the cash flow. It's just that you're not paying attention to it. And one of the things about needing to get the mindset that we want to have is paying attention, getting clarity. And I'll go into that a little bit more. So this is number 1, cash flow. What's number 2? So I want you to put number 2 over here, all right, in this box. So number 2, what is number 2? It is proper protection. We're talking about money and business. So don't you want your money to grow? We're talking about accumulation, right? So we want our money to grow. We want it to grow. And because we want it to grow, we want to protect it as well. So when we talk about proper protection, you want to protect the increase. You want to protect the business, okay? You want to protect those things that matter most. So what are we talking about here? You know, we protect everything. You get insurance on your phone, your flat screen TV, your LG washer and dryer, all those things, and your car in your house, right? And you may have some life insurance on your job, but we tend not to understand what proper protection means. And what does that mean? What does proper protection mean? What do you think in your mind? Proper protection means your ability, it means your ability to make sure that you protect yourself from loss of income. Okay? Protect yourself from loss of income. So if you are disabled, you can't go to work, all right? Remember that word accumulation, okay? If you're disabled and you can't go to work, if you are if you're a household and it takes two of you to keep the bills paid and to have the lifestyle that you want. So if you're a family and one of the partners is making 50 and the other's making 50, you got $100,000 coming in, that's called cash flow. That's money in. Okay, you got $100,000 coming in. If one of you is disabled or passes away, you can't replace the person. We just deal with the grief, right? However, you can replace the income. You can replace the income. And how do you do that? That means that if a person is making 50K, you have to multiply that by 10, right? Multiply that by 10, and that gives you how much? 500K. And this is proper protection. Why? Because this is 10 years at 50,000 equals 500,000. So if you divide 500,000 by 10, that's only what? $50,000 a year for 10 years. $50,000 a year for 10 years. And so if you keep living, what happens after that? So proper protection is understanding how to protect yourself from loss of income. Loss of income, all right? All right, moving right along. So you got those first two boxes, right? So number 3. What is number 3? Number 3 is emergency fund. Emergency fund. So what do you have to do to put away an emergency fund? What is that? It means that you have some liquidity, right? So what is that? That means it's like the money you used to have in your sock drawer, right? Or you put some money in an envelope when you're saving for something, or you got your stash, right? You know, my mama always told me you got to have a stash, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. So you have to have an emergency fund. All right, so make sure you're writing this down. Emergency fund. And so what is an emergency fund? Right now, it is 9 to 12 months of savings. 9 to 12 months of savings in your stash. Right? Why 9 to 12 months? And let me even back up from that. You say, oh my God, savings. I'm not even, savings, I don't even know what are you talking about saving money? All I do is spend money, okay? We have not built a saving muscle, right? We haven't gotten strong with the saving part. And that is what creates accumulation. Saving is when you put the seed in the ground so that you can get the harvest. And the plants that grow have more seed. That's what savings is about, all right? So no matter how much cash flow you have, you can save something. You can save something. And even if it doesn't seem like a lot, if it's $1, if it's $2, if you have a jar and you drop several dollars in there a day, okay, maybe the money that you spend on that extra that you don't spend on that extra latte, right? That's called managing your expenses. You put it in a jar, now you create savings. You create a stash for your emergency fund. You need 9 to 12 months worth of your income saved somewhere. You say, well, that's a lot of money. Well, maybe not. They say that most people are one paycheck away from being homeless, okay, from losing their house. If you lose your job, what are you going to do? That's what this is for. That's what this is for, right? If you lose your job, this over here, proper protection, loss of income, is about your disability and somebody passing away. Your emergency fund is when the washing machine breaks or when there's water coming out from underneath the refrigerator, when those things are not insured, medical expenses, those kinds of emergencies, right? Things that just come up and you need cash right now. And you need it to be liquid in an account where you can put your hands on it. With the world the way that it is, with corporations downsizing, outsourcing, and replacing people with robots, with the coming in of AI, artificial intelligence, right? You got to have some money put away because the job that you may have been displaced from may not exist anymore. And you may have to retool, you may have to do some things, and then you have to be able to take care of yourself in the meantime. So that's what your emergency fund is for, okay? That's what that is for. So think about these 3 things. We're going to go to break in a moment. What does your cash flow look like? Think about proper protection. What do you need to put in place to have proper protection? And your emergency fund. How much do you really need? So you take the amount of income that you have per month and multiply it by 9 months. You can start with 3 to 6 months, okay? So when we come back, we're going to do the other 3. We're going to jump in and we'll be right back.